Fallout New Vegas. Now, if you're anything like me, you're just a normal guy who likes good video games. Or, more likely, since it's New Vegas, a middle-aged gamer living off energy drinks and the faint hope of government handouts. You've probably spent more hours in this digital wasteland than you spent in actual productive human society. But where did this radioactive gem come from? Well, like any good capitalist venture, it was born from the ashes of failed projects and minor nervous breakdowns. Obsidian Entertainment, a company with a name so edgy it could have been thought up by a room full of underpaid developers, was given a task by Bethesda, the gaming world's equivalent of that uncle who always promises big Christmas presents and then shows up with socks. Now, Obsidian had a mere 18 months to produce this game. That's less time than it takes most of you to accept that you're going bald, let alone create a game that's going to be played by millions of Mountain Dew-fueled insomniacs. And yet, they managed it. Why? Well, because according to the laws of capitalism, sleep is for the weak and deadlines are just another word for working weekends. And thus, Fallout New Vegas was released in 2010 in the middle of an economic crisis. Perfect timing, right? Nothing says escapism like wandering a post-apocalyptic wasteland while your real-life savings dwindle away. The game was essentially a gamble, much like its casino-riddled setting. And ladies, we all know how men are with gambling. They'd bet their left nut if they thought it would win them a round of beer. And, speaking of gambling, the game was set in Sin City itself, Las Vegas. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, why Vegas? Well, why not? It's got everything you need for a good post-apocalyptic setting: neon lights, a palpable sense of regret, and enough alcohol to make you forget you're even in a video game, or that you're 35 and still living with your mother. It's also worth mentioning that the game's lead designer, Josh Sawyer, is from Vegas. So if you've ever wondered why New Vegas feels like it was created by a guy with a deep personal understanding of what it's like to wake up in a dumpster, well, there you go. So, Fallout New Vegas was born. Not with a whimper, but with a bang. A nuclear one at that. And it's been irradiating our hearts and wasting our precious, fleeting youth ever since. But remember, folks, in the bleak world of Fallout New Vegas, it's not the radiation that'll get you. It's the crushing realization that you've spent 500 hours trying to find a digital toaster. Bruh. But hey, that's why we love it, isn't it, you masochistic gamers? Let's take a moment to appreciate the setting of Fallout New Vegas. It's like the developers took the American dream, beat it with an ugly stick of nuclear war, and then sprinkled it with a healthy dose of why the hell not? And the result, a glowing radioactive masterpiece. New Vegas is essentially a neon-lit oasis in a desert of despair, sort of like Walmart on Black Friday. A beacon of hope surrounded by anarchy and discounted electronics. It's the perfect place for you to live out your Mad Max fantasies without the inconvenience of actual apocalypse. And let's be real, half of you couldn't survive without your daily frappuccino, let alone a nuclear holocaust. The city is all bright lights and sin, a complete contrast to the bleak wasteland surrounding it. It's like a Kardashian in a homeless shelter. It just doesn't belong. But it sure does make for a good entertainment. The developers really nailed the atmosphere, capturing the essence of Vegas, the glitz, the glamour, the crippling gambling addiction. But of course, this is my favorite Fallout game. Why? Because it's the only game where you can get drunk, gamble away your hard-earned bottle caps, and then wake up married to a robot. You know, just a regular Tuesday in Vegas. What? What the f? And let's not forget the NPCs. They're like the people you avoid at your family reunions. Weird, a little bit scary, and with a surprising amount of backstory. You've got everything from Elvis impersonators to Roman wannabes. It's like a fever dream of a history buff on acid. Now let's talk about the music. Oh, the music. It's like being trapped in an elevator with Frank Sinatra's less talented nephew, but it's part of the charm. After all, nothing quite says post-apocalyptic survival like crooning along to Blue Moon while you blast a mutant's head off. But don't let the neon lights fool you. This isn't your grandma's Vegas. This is a city where you're as likely to get shot over a poker game as you are to find a clean toilet. But hey, at least it's safer than a gender reveal party in California, right? And remember, in Fallout New Vegas, what happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas. It follows you around, like that weird rash you got after your business trip to Bangkok. But hey, at least you can blame it on the radiation. So buckle up, you Dorito-dusted keyboard warriors, because we're just getting started. Next up, the high-stakes gameplay that makes New Vegas the adrenaline-fueled controller-smashing experience that you just can't seem to quit. You know, sort of like your ex, Susan, but that's a story for another time. Well folks, you made it to scene 3. Congratulations, that's probably the longest you've committed to anything since that juice cleanse you tried last New Year's. But don't worry, unlike your failed attempts at a healthy living, New Vegas won't leave you feeling empty and disappointed. Well, not unless you're a fan of Bethesda's bug-free gameplay. You see, the gameplay in New Vegas is like a government program. It's a little clumsy, it's full of bugs, and it's likely to crash at any moment. But just like your love life, you keep coming back for more because, let's face it, you don't have many other options.
Emotional damage.
The combat system is a real gem. It's like a ballet if the dancers were high on jet and the choreographer was a drunken super mutant. It's a chaotic mess of VATS, bullet timing, and praying to the RNG gods that your headshot lands. One of the best parts about New Vegas is its freedom that it gives you. You can be a hero, a villain, or just that weirdo who collects bottle caps and hoards teddy bears. Kinda like your Aunt Edna, but with more rad roaches. And let's not forget about the dialogue options. They're like your girlfriend's mood swings, completely unpredictable and likely to end with someone getting shot. But hey, that's all part of the charm, right? Just like when your girlfriend gets mad at you for not remembering something she told you in her sleep. Ah, the joys of womanhood. The crafting system is like a high school chemistry class. Half the time you have no idea what you're doing, and the other half you're just hoping it doesn't blow up in your face. But at least in Fallout, the worst thing that can happen is a little radiation poisoning. It's still a hell of a lot safer than trying to assemble any IKEA furniture. And let's not forget the karma system. It's like the universe's way of keeping you in check. Steal a few bottle caps, lose karma. Shoot a few raiders, gain karma. It's like a cosmic game of seesaw, and you're just trying not to fall off. But the real kicker here, folks, is the hardcore mode. It's like your mother-in-law constantly nagging at you to eat, drink, and sleep, and just like your mother-in-law, it's completely optional and best avoided if you want to enjoy your experience. So there you have it, the wild wasteland of Fallout New Vegas gameplay. It's a roller coaster ride of chaos, frustration, and unexpected hilarity. But don't worry, we'll be diving into the radioactive pool of memorable quests and characters soon enough. So keep your Rad-X handy and your power armor charged, you're gonna need it. Welcome back, folks, to the irradiated playground that is New Vegas. Hope you've got your Radaway ready because we're about to dive into the memory pool of some unforgettable quests and characters. And trust me, these memories are stickier than that time you tried to make homemade Nuka-Cola. Let's start with the quests. Now, New Vegas quests are like your ex's Instagram posts. They're varied, they're entertaining, and they usually involve some poor schmuck getting screwed over. You've got quests that range from hunting down a gang of violent convicts to retrieving a sex bot. Yeah, you heard that right. A sex bot. Makes you wonder about the state of your love life, doesn't it? And let's not forget about the characters. New Vegas is filled with a colorful cast of characters that are about as stable as the Middle East. We've got everyone from drugged up Elvis impersonators to a toaster with homicidal tendencies. And let's not forget about the Nightkin, who are bluer than you were after your last breakup. One of my personal favorites is Boone, the sniper with the heart of gold and a past as tragic as your attempts at a diet. Seriously, who needs a soap opera when you've got this guy's backstory? And let's not forget about Veronica, the Brotherhood scribe who punches harder than your dad after finding out you dropped out of college to become a YouTuber. The real star of this show is Mr. House, the man who's managed to survive a nuclear apocalypse by becoming a human popsicle. Now that's what I call dedication. And he's got more money than Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk combined. If only he could lend us some for our student loans, right? Speaking of money, let's talk about the in-game economy. It's like a socialist wet dream. You can kill a few geckos, loot their bodies, and steal from people wealthier than you. And suddenly you're the richest person in the Mojave. And let's not forget about the casinos, because nothing says post-apocalyptic survival like blowing all your hard-earned caps on a game of blackjack. But don't worry, folks, the political incorrectness doesn't stop there. The game even features a faction of Roman legionnaires who've somehow time traveled from 1st century BC to post-apocalyptic Nevada. Because why the hell not? At least Caesar's Legion makes your Uncle Bob's Thanksgiving rants about immigrants seem a little less crazy. From sex bots to homicidal toasters, this game has got something for everyone. But hold on to your pip, boys, because up next we're gonna dive into the bugs. So keep your stim packs handy and your save files backed up. Hey, you know what they say, what happens in New Vegas stays in New Vegas, right? Well, apparently that applies to the bugs too. They're that weird cousin at family reunions always showing up uninvited and ruining everything. I mean, you've seen less glitches in an episode of The Matrix. Take the infamous Doc Mitchell headspin, for example. One minute you're talking to the good doctor, the next you're staring into the abyss of his neck as his head performs a full 360. I haven't seen that much rotation since the last time I walked into a Catholic church. Remember, folks, the only thing spinning faster than the priest's head are the rumors about what happened at Sunday school last Sunday. Now let's not forget about the invisible walls. They're like the social barriers at a high school prom, stopping you from reaching out to that cute girl across the room. And when you do manage to get past those invisible barriers, you find yourself falling through the floor like your self-esteem after reading the comments of your latest Instagram post. But hey, at least the glitches are entertaining, right? I mean, who doesn't love watching their characters T-pose into the sunset after a hard day of looting and pillaging? It's like the game is trying to make a statement about the futility of existence in a post-apocalyptic world. Either that or the developers were just really big fans of Jesus. Of course, no talk about New Vegas Lowlights would be complete without mentioning the crashes. They happen more frequently than an alcoholic with a driving license. And you can bet your bottom cap that they're always gonna strike at the most inconvenient moment. Like right after you've finally beaten that pesky Deathclaw, it's like the game is telling you to go outside and socialize or something. Makes me wonder if this game was actually designed by a team of clever psychologists trying to cure us from our gaming addiction. Or maybe it's just the game's way of getting back at us for all the virtual atrocities we've committed. I mean, come on. You didn't think there'd be no consequences for killing all those innocent people, did you? But hey, at least it's not as bad as the economy. Inflation is higher than a hippie at Woodstock. And don't get me started on the bottle caps. It's like the game is trying to encourage us to drink more Nuka-Cola, as if we needed more reasons to destroy our lives. So, you've survived the bugs and glitches, or maybe you've just watched the video instead of actually playing the game. In either case, welcome to the high-stakes poker table of New Vegas, where the cards are always stacked in our favor, because we modded the hell out of the game. First off, the characters. Yes, I'm talking about the star-studded cast of oddballs and misfits that make the Kardashians look like the Brady Bunch. You've got everything from a robot cowboy to a glorified lounge singer. And let's not forget about Fisto, the, service robot. Talk about getting a bang for your buck. It's like Westworld on steroids. And acid. Lots and lots of acid. Then there's the combat, or as I like to call it, the bullet time ballet. VATS make every fight feel like you're in the middle of a John Woo movie, but instead of doves flying in slow motion, it's chunks of gold flesh. Nothing says cinematic quite like a super mutant's head exploding in slow motion. It's poetry in motion. It's like a ballet dancer with a shotgun. And let's take a second to talk about the dialogue options. They're as diverse as the audience of this channel. That's right, I'm looking at you, the guy who watches these videos in his mom's basement, eating Doritos and dreaming about having a girlfriend. Don't worry, buddy, there's a dialogue option for that too. Speaking of dialogue, who can forget about the iconic lines? Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
You know, patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
I haven't seen that much wishful thinking since the last US election. I guess the NCR doesn't have a very effective weather control policy, huh? The world of New Vegas is so immersive that you can't help but feel a part of it. The casinos, the factions, the irradiated creatures, it's like a trip to Vegas, Chernobyl, and the Australian outback all in one. The only thing missing is a drunken Elvis impersonator. Oh wait, they've got that covered too. Not to mention the moral choices you have to make. I mean, who knew a post-apocalyptic video game could give more ethical dilemmas than a vegan at a barbecue? Join the NCR, side with Caesar's Legion, or go at it alone. The choice is yours. Just like that time you had the choice between watching another one of my videos or doing something productive with your life. Well, well, well. We are at the end of this radioactive rainbow, and what have we found? Not a pot of gold, my friend, but a glowing green vat of nuclear waste. Welcome to the legacy and future of Fallout New Vegas, where the only thing more radioactive than the landscape is the community's hot takes of this game. I mean, let's face it, New Vegas is like that ex you can't quit. It's old, it's flawed, and it crashes more often than a drunk driver, but damn, you keep coming back for more. It's like a toxic relationship, but with more super mutants. And let's not forget about the mods. They range from totally necessary to what the hell were you thinking? It's like the Wild West of game development, where the only law is there are no laws. Fallout New Vegas is a testament to the power of choice. The choice to join a faction, the choice to nuke a town, the choice to play the game instead of doing something productive like getting a job. Hey, who needs a real life when you can live in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, right? The future of New Vegas is as uncertain as the US elections. Will there be a remaster? A sequel? Or will Bethesda keep churning out Skyrim ports until the cows come home? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, as long as there are gamers with too much time on their hands, New Vegas will never die. Much like war never changes. And let's not forget about the legacy of this game. The countless hours spent exploring, fighting, and modding. The friendships formed, the enemies made, the virtual spouses abandoned at the altar because you forgot you had a companion waiting at the Lucky 38. Ah. Good times. In the end, Fallout New Vegas is more than just a game. It's a lifestyle, a monument to the human spirit, our ability to find joy in the face of adversity, our capacity for creativity and innovation. Or maybe it's just a really good way to avoid dealing with our problems. Either way, it's one hell of a ride. So here's to Fallout New Vegas. May its radiance never fade, may its community never die, and may its bugs and glitches, well, let's just hope for a remaster, yeah? Now don't forget to hit that like button, or I'll have to assume you're a synth. And nobody likes a synth, right?